All right, you guys ready to get started?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Lisa, my academy would say yes or anyone just say yeah or yes. Well, welcome. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Shaun. I'm an agent here, Blue Suit Realtor, not today, obviously, Blue Shoe Realtor instead. My wife, Jennifer, or Jen, we own and operate Karate for Kids and ATA Martial Arts Academy. We're both 5th degree black belts in Sangam Taekwondo. We've also studied in a variety of other arts and styles. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be teaching you mostly physical stuff. Because I can stand up here and talk to you about safety, but you can do your own research on that. It's really easy to find stuff. There's a course on it that you can take, an online ed. I don't think you get credit for it, but you can take it. It's got a lot of great information in it. There's a couple things that Scott pointed out that are kind of important if you use them. If you don't use them, they are not important at all. Sentry Lock has this wonderful feature you can enable that will automatically alert your designated contacts when you do not or cannot confirm that you're safe. So this is a little thing you just activate it, and then so I'm guessing it'll do some sort of a check-in system with your emergency contacts. I've not tried it yet.
Calls, texts, to get some attention.
Get somebody's attention. So
I've
if you
accidentally not responded and it's gone off.
okay, so there you go. There's also
It alerts him.
yeah.
It'll make a phone call, it'll send a text message. Everybody should have it on there. So I
I
mean,
have it, my husband's on there.
yeah,
So
so
is that when you open the lockbox and then it says okay, and the
Agent
key,
safety.
yes or no, and it's kind of, so it's in that about right there?
yeah, it'll just say agent safety. So it gives you 20 minutes. So if you don't close the lockbox within 20 minutes or do something with say you're still there, that lets your emergency contacts know that, hey, I might be in trouble.
And then if they like you, they'll reach out to you and make sure you're okay. There's also tracking stuff using GPS. Google location works pretty decent. That's an easy one you can enable. And you can enable and then turn it back off again. You can say, I want it to be for the next hour. I want Scott to have permission to know where I'm at. After that, he can't have permission. It'll automatically shut it off. So you can regulate it that way. There's also apps like Life 360. That also has an emergency feature on it. The biggest thing that all of that does is it creates awareness of where you are and whether or not you're safe. When I first started here, Scott said, don't be a secret agent. And at the time, I thought that meant for like getting clients, but it also means don't be a secret agent when you're out in the field. Let somebody know where you're at. If it's not your principal broker, maybe a lover, maybe a husband, or maybe a good friend, somebody that will come to your aid or will check in on you if they don't hear from you. One of the things too is to just keep in mind of environmental awareness. Like know where you're at. Don't go in like this when you go into a place. See what's around you. Drive the neighborhood. Know what houses are around. What the type of people are in the neighborhood of the house you're showing. If you're showing a house or listing a house, or doing an open house. And then know your exit strategy. Like where's the doors? Could you get to the doors? Is the door easy to lock, or is it something that's hard to lock? Is it something that you can prevent somebody from easily closing and locking on you? So like if the lockbox is hanging on, leave the lockbox open. It's a lot harder to close it quickly and lock it with the lockbox because it hits the door jamb unless you move it a little bit. If it's got an interior lock that takes a key, don't put the key in that lock. Keep the key with you or put it someplace else safe so that somebody can't just close it and lock a deadbolt on you. Because that's a little bit harder to undo than the simple twist locks. Making sure, line of sight, that you're not in front, you're behind. So you're shepherding people through, not leading them through. So if I have somebody behind me, I don't know what they're doing, I can't tell. They could suddenly turn on me, and you just never know. Because one of the things that we find in the martial arts community and in the self-defense world is that there's no cutout of a predator. I can't say, this is a predator, and stand next to somebody else and say, now you see the difference. I can't do that. You could be at the open house, and you could have a rapist come through, and a serial killer come through, and a mom of 3 come through, and they all look exactly the same. I just made a serial killer out of a lady, which is unlikely, very unlikely, but it could happen, right?
Not lately though.
Not lately, yeah. So just keep in mind those kinds of things. Think about your footwear, ladies. Not so much guys. Guys are pretty utilitarian in our footwear. Could you run in it? Yes. If you had to run and escape, could you do it?
Yeah.
If you couldn't, maybe you should reconsider that footwear for when you're doing stuff that's going to be at a property. Your clothing. Is your clothing that's restrictive and hard to move in, or is it clothing that you can move in and defend yourself in? So if you're wearing, like I have a couple shirts that are really tight, and if I go like this, I feel like the shirt's going to tear. So if you have clothing like that, you have to be willing to say, oops, broke the seams, I had to defend myself. For some people, it'll instinctively be a shut-off. They'll stop because of their clothing. Another thing is look around. Put your head on the swivel. Like, a lot of times we get doing stuff and we'll look at the phone, we'll look at the listing sheet, might talk to the client, but we forgot to look around and see what's going on around us. When you're entering your house, announce your presence. Like, let them know you're there. Bang on the door really hard. Let them know that you're a real estate agent coming in. There's been times where I've done that and there's people there, like family members or whatever, or somebody. At one place I was showing, there were squatters there. So when you go in and you're real estate agent coming in, bringing my clients. Anybody home? It feels a little embarrassing when you do it, but do it enough and it stops. Those muscles get stronger and all of a sudden you're like, it's no big deal. Your clients might look at you like, what? But that's okay. Better to be embarrassed than be surprised. To that end, when you're going to go take somebody out, if you've never met them and you know nothing about them, when you meet them, take a picture of their driver's license. Ask them for it. Hey, I just need to take a picture of your driver's license before we get started today. And then text that to your principal broker or your emergency contact so they know who you're with, rather than just going, hey, I've never met you before, showing up and going through with them because you're just trying to get that sale or that client. Ideally, have them meet you at a neutral place first so that you can get to know them. Starbucks, the office is great. Got lots of cool offices here, a couple conference rooms, so things like that. But what the main focus of today is, that's about the end of the talkie talk. The main focus of today is the chop suey. Everybody.
I haven't seen that cartoon for years.
Everybody that I work with in self-defense always goes, wow, that was so easy to do with these techniques, because they're leverage-based techniques. They're not designed for you to fight with. They're designed for you to get away with. There's a difference between, in my mindset anyway, between what I call self-defense and what I call fighting. Self-defense is when somebody's assailing you and you're trying to get away from it so you can go home to your family. To me, that's self-defense. Fighting is where we've made an agreement that we're going to beat each other up. At that point, the skill set changes, because now you're working against somebody whose skill set is a known factor. In self-defense, it's an unknown. So if somebody attacks me, let's say Mark, for instance, decides he's going to attack me, I don't know what he knows. So in self-defense, everything's about surprise. Everything's about surprise. Catch them off guard. They wouldn't have picked you if they didn't think they could win. So the difference, again, between that and fighting is a fight, you don't know if you can win. You're hedging your bets that you can win, that your skill set's better, your endurance is better. In self-defense, they picked you because they thought they could beat you for whatever their end purpose was, whether it's rape, abduction, assault, murder, whatever it was, they picked you for a reason. Now today we're not going to cover what to do if they have a weapon. I'll try to just, scream and yell and pee your pants. But something to keep in mind is whoever manages the distance manages the damage. So the closer you are to an assailant, harder to be hurt. Arm's distance, very easy to be hurt. More than arm's distance, very hard to be hurt. People can cover ground very quickly though, so keeping that in mind. One of the things when I worked with the Washington County Sheriff's Office in Search and Rescue, we talked about was the police officer's got a gun, it's in his holster. The assailant's got a knife. He's this far away. Who wins?
Knife.
Knife. Every single time and twice on a Sunday. There's no way you can be fast enough to get it out and aim and fire, even with the drills that they do, to stop somebody who's got a knife from getting you. So managing that distance, super important. And we don't have body armor and guns and stuff like that. Hopefully we don't need them in real estate, but if you did, that'd be like a different country maybe. So we're going to do some stuff. Previously we've done combat base, where we're teaching you how to stand properly. We've done some simple wrist releases, some super slaps. We're going to revisit the super slap because you can never slap somebody enough. We're going to add in a kick today. This is a pressure point move. It's called the superficial peroneal. It's very painful. It's right there, where the foot and the shin come together. There's a little pocket there that when kicked really hard makes you feel like your ankle just got broken even though it didn't. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you don't have to be able to aim, you just have to be able to find their foot and just kick right over it. As your foot hits theirs, it slides right up and hits them. It's very, even at that pressure, it's still very uncomfortable. So we're going to do that. We're going to teach you a technique today called the stop, block, and frame. That's used to help you get away from somebody, and then what happens if you couldn't? What happens if they overwhelmed you? So for instance, if that's my exit, or her exit, and I'm the assailant, and I'm here, she needs to get so she can get over there. So somehow she has to get past me. And we could be in a small corridor, we could be in a large room like this. So being able to redirect you off of them. And that's a common mistake when we teach this technique, is that you try to redirect them. So with Jen, I can redirect her, I can push her. She's lighter than me and smaller than me. I try that with Scott, or Shaun, or Jason, or Mark. Might be able to move you, Eric, you're pretty skinny. Victor, I probably can move. These are all bigger and heavier knives. So when I'm pushing against them,
You're picking on a fat guy?
I noticed that. Stereotyping here.
so when I push them, I rebound, not off of the belly, but just down. Mainly because it's like pushing against a wall. So if you've ever done that, you know it's like, oh wow, this isn't working. So rather than trying to push them back, we're going to work on pushing us back. So it's a redirect. So if she's pushing me, I shouldn't actually do this. I shouldn't move. Her push should actually push her away from me. I might take a small step, but that's about it. I shouldn't be backpedaling off of this push. She should be. So when you do this, it's all, remember we said environmental awareness, head on a swivel. If you don't know what's behind you and you push and go back, that's a good way to push and fall over. It's also why when we step back, we lead with the weight on the front leg, so that we're not stepping back like this. Keep the weight onto the front leg and then adjust the front back. So we're going to start with that today. Your partner, you're going to get a partner. You know, this isn't a solo drill. You're going to have to work with somebody. Preferably ladies with ladies, just for comfort's sake, for them, not for you guys. If you're a man working with a woman, this is your push point. Okay? If you're working with a guy, this is your push point. Okay? We're just going to go center of the chest. Again, you're going to push and redirect you. If you can redirect you at an angle instead of straight back, you're better off. If she just goes straight back,
Which I just did.
I can cover distance forward faster than she can move backwards. However, if I have to make a decision to turn, because maybe she went that way, she pushed me and then moved towards the door, now I have to take the second to turn. That could be her second to get away. Or her second to throw something at me to distract me again so she could get away. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, so I want you to try that. We're not gonna spend a lot of time trying. This is a try. A little bit here, a little bit there. We're gonna put a lot together in a little bit. Okay, so get up on your feet. Don't puke your pizza on your neighbor.
So we're gonna push?
Garlic. Yeah. Push and redirect yourself away from them. Pregnant people.
You can do this, but you can do this. Because you're just pushing
push,
here
just don't fall.
and then just,
What do you want to do?
yeah. And then
You have to hurry.
just don't try to put all of your
We'll go back here.
effort into
And
it.
there's more room over this way. Remember, you want to try to push you back, not them. There you go.
Shaun, what are we doing now?
Okay, so if you're the back, I'm pushing you.
If you just want to go this way, then you don't have to worry about somebody running into
You're
you.
back like this. But if you're coming in and you're me, I tend to push me.
So I don't need to push Victor,
So yeah, so
push myself back?
So you're coming at you, you're gonna push it into here like this, you're gonna push.
Okay, come at
Step
me.
back with your left foot.
You're just gonna go like this.
I'm gonna
And you
push
don't have to go too far,
you.
just get the idea of
With the bigger pusher off, it's hard not to shove them back.
So you're gonna push me, so push yourself backwards. Go ahead.
You're gonna push.
Okay, everybody listen up really quick, listen up really quick. So we tried it with your partner mostly being static.
Yeah.
Meaning they're not moving, which makes it very difficult to do. One of the keys to this is they're going to be moving towards you. So pushing in a vacuum, which is where I'm just standing here and she's pushing me, it's really hard for her to move backwards. Let's go this way a little bit so you don't run into stuff. If I'm coming forwards towards her, it's a lot easier for her to back away from me that way. Does that make sense? But this is what we're looking at, is that dynamic versus, hi, I want to assault you. Oh, yeah, I'm going to assault you. It's happening. It's on right now. Come on. Again, fight instincts. So with your partner, start from a few feet back and just walk at them. Like our students oftentimes will do this. They'll walk and they'll go like this. Because they're expecting that push to be there. Don't stop until you walk into them. Just keep going. If she doesn't push, if she listens, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna walk right into her because that's essentially what's gonna happen. If you don't respond, now they've got you. Okay? Try that.
Okay, ready? Yeah. All right. So you're gonna push me. You're gonna push me to get yourself backwards. So come over there. You're trying to push me so you can go backwards. So you're pushing you backwards.
Push you back away from the
So then you can get away that way. So if they're walking towards you, use their momentum, push yourself backwards. Then you come back.
Talk about
So I get backwards.
So thinking about when you're showing a house.
So you can get backwards. Just use your minute to get away. Well, this time, you're trying to push yourself backwards.
I'll just be like,
So you're get yourself backwards.
I used to do, like, I go to see.
Yeah, just use your two hands.
So which would be like the same.
What do you think, Shaun?
Like, okay,
Watch.
tomorrow I have a showing, when,
All right, ready?
okay, if something were to happen, I could do this.
Close, yeah. So you're kind of really resisting.
I mean, just kind
Less
of
resistance, just kind of go with
think
it.
about it, visualize in your head. I've been trying to short
Yeah, I'm just bouncing off. Yeah, no resistance.
And you know, it's you jump away really fast and come at you. I almost lose my footing.
Right. Kind of stop.
Now I felt kind of weird going on like all by myself, scars.
It's still too much push. Still too much push. I feel like this happens, so it feels like this.
But dude, check your shoes. So do like he said she goes into a house and she wears.
Pretty better.
It's better. It's better. Okay, you guys ready for the next part?
Quick, get out.
So the first part of that I forgot to mention is the stop side of it is when you tell them to stop.
Oh, yeah.
Stop advancing on me. Stop coming closer. Stay back. Don't get any closer to me. So this is awkward. Quit it. Like whatever you got to say to try to keep them back. When that doesn't work, that's when you do this next part that we just practiced, which is the block and try to escape. Ideally, know your exits for any room you're in and how to get out. The next part is what happens when they were able to continue coming because your redirect wasn't getting you far enough back, and now they're trying to grab onto you to control you. So one of the grabs that happens is if I try to grab her and I've been pushing her, I might be trying to grab her around the head, or grab her around the shoulders, or grab her around the waist. Those are the three popular grabs right there. Probably not going to do a leg takedown unless they're like really highly trained and why are they doing this? So as I come in to grab her, she's going to create a frame. What does a frame do?
Holds pictures.
Holds it.
Define space.
Defines space. That's right. It defines space and it supports a structure. Okay, so the space that she's defining is the space between us that I'm not allowed to go into any further. In order to do that, you can't try to go strength against strength. You need to go joint setup against strength. So everybody put your right hand out like this. Now take your left hand and bring it around and grab your wrist. Okay? There's your frame. The straight right arm supporting the bent left arm. So as I'm coming in and trying to grab her, and this is a common mistake that martial artists make because they want to throw an elbow strike, is they'll go like this. They'll bring their hand in and then try to push it out. That's not how you do it. Your hand's there when you get there. So I'll demonstrate this. Maybe I can use Scott.
Okay, yeah.
He's had a little ego problem lately.
So as he comes in,
You want me to come in?
yeah, go ahead. So I've done this, and now he's trying to grab me. Okay? And if he grabs on, so we'll go slow. If he grabs on and starts to pull, how's that feel in your throat? Doesn't feel very good, right? So all I'm doing is this. The more he squeezes, which is his goal, the more he's trying to gather me in, the more pain he creates for himself, which is what we want. We don't want to have to hurt him. We want him to hurt him. More fun if they hurt themselves. Okay, so here, as he came in, this just came up. Okay, now if this arm bends, and he does that, go ahead. It's useless.
Yeah.
So this has to be strong. This has to be straight, and this is supporting it. It may not be completely locked, but it's supporting it. So your frame is really kind of like that. It's kind of awkward looking. And so your partner's going to, I'll use you again now. So the partner's going to, we're going to take the push out for the moment. They're just going to come in like they're going to give you a big hug. Okay? When you do that, don't duck your chin. I know it's uncomfortable, you're hitting the throat. Don't duck your chin. That's a good way to get knocked out today. Okay, there's a delete button right there. So if I duck my chin and get hit by that, it can actually put your lights out pretty easy. Particularly if you happen to step in fast and they happen to have a little bit of force behind it. So just keep your head up and just tighten your neck muscles. Okay? And do it like once. Like don't do it over and over again like I'm doing here. And you can also turn your head slightly to the side, which doesn't feel any better. But you can do the other side and just make it even, so you get the center of both sides, so you're hurting everywhere instead of just in one spot. So again, they're going to try to hug you. You're going to frame. Okay, so that's the final piece of this, is the frame. And then there's some other stuff we're going to learn that you're going to add on to this in a moment that's going to make this even stronger.
Is there anything specific you should do with your stance, or it's sort of instinctual how you would stand when you do the frame?
Well, if you notice, if I'm gonna do this side, my right foot's gonna be forward.
Which
If I'm
makes
gonna do
sense,
my
yeah.
left, so it's gotta be basically whatever you're
It's sort of-
standing like,
I mean,
that's
like
where
wherever
you
this
want.
is where your front foot naturally
Right.
should be, right? So,
Yeah, you don't want to have the supported arm like this.
yeah,
You want it to
okay,
be-
that would make sense. But
Pushing
yeah.
But yeah, as far as like what your legs are actually doing, it's mostly just putting resistance, like you're gonna push with your body.
Okay.
Or if you've ever stood up on the max,
Come in.
on the train, surfing, same concept. Okay, give that a shot. Try not to crush each other's legs.
Yeah, but no, I'll hug. Go slow. Go ahead.
Oh, what happened to you? Your partner had to go.
You push right this way. I'll try hugging this way.
That's it.
I'm gonna try to grab it on you. And then push away. Okay, you're the hugger. You're hugging. You hug? Yeah, push hard. Oh, bring my hug. Yeah, there you go. That was good.
That, so this is when you're grabbing. So if you're grabbing, this one's the one that's pushing away. So this is, I say that's straight.
Oh, Tammy?
So
Try to make here.
right, it's right here, my,
Yeah.
that's as straight as it's gonna be while you're pushing away.
Yeah, all right.
The work got me.
It was. So come on.
Whichever arm is like the bent one,
Like this though. Here, Sean.
Because I was like this.
Ready?
so this arm's gonna be bent. Push down here, and that you're pushing against the this arm's gonna be
This is just about straight.
Keep me away from you.
Oh, okay.
The idea is you're pushing here, and it's he pushes in because this is solid. It pushes against it using his own force versus you having to hit you.
There you go. This is your leverage.
Yeah, see, you good. See, that way you're trying to grab onto it, you're pushing him away.
I can't help running.
Now you're letting try it again. Ready? Push harder though, so yeah, this arm is pushing that out into the throat. You got solid now. No, you were solid on that. There you go. Try getting more in the middle. Flatter. So you're kind of sideways. There you go.
Don't want to hurt you.
Victor.
Come on, Victor.
You're the hugger. She's solid.
Everybody's mostly got that.
Did you guys got it? Sorry, I had it.
Next part is we're gonna let you hit some stuff.
Really?
We're gonna let you hit some stuff next. This is where it gets fun. Everybody likes to hit things usually. I say usually. So how many of you know how to slap? How many of
You can duck.
you super slap?
I can do a super slap.
If you came to that last
Came to the
class
last
and
one,
you
and you should know how to do it.
You got super slap, remember?
Super slap.
Yeah, you do super slap. So we brought some targets so you don't have to bang up your hands. Got a whole bag full of these. Or your opponent, yeah. So they're gonna be kind of noisy.
Favorite.
When you do the super slap, one of the things that oftentimes I see when people do this is they have what I call slapping habits, which are sloppy slapping habits. Okay?
Sloppy slapping.
Yeah, SSH, sloppy slapping habits. So what that looks like is they go like this. And they think that's got power. It sounds like it does. It sounds like it does. Here's the problem. You slapping him with that.
No.
That ain't gonna work.
He's gonna go.
He's just gonna look at you like, what?
Well, it might move the head, but.
There's been this, I think it was on Instagram or Facebook or some like trending thing of like some slap contest.
It's the Russian bitch slap contest.
There you go. There you go. And the guy gets slapped multiple times, just stand there, then he just hits once and knocks the guy out. He's using a super slap. So the super slap is letting the arm be relaxed, which is very hard to do when your adrenaline's pumping. So if you already have this tendency, you have to really relax. You need to practice a lot of just letting it hang. Feel like this is a chain and this is a piece of metal at the end, as opposed to this is a rod with a hammer on it. So I'm just gonna let it relax and come up. Relax and come up. As it comes up, the spot that I'm trying to hit is right here. The ear, corner of the jaw, and the mastoid cavity. Okay? That's a beautiful spot to hit. Mastoid cavity, I've knocked people out with that. It's fun. Because their legs go like this before they fall down. The ear, if you've ever had like a really bad ear infection and you went to stand up and you suddenly got like vertigo,
Oh, yeah.
that's what happens when you get hit. The corner of the jaw can actually knock you out too. So those are some.
And dislocate.
And it's less likely to dislocate. It's more likely to just knock you a lot of pain, maybe knock you out. So that's what I'm aiming for with this. And my hand is big. Okay? A lot of times when you see people slap, they slap like this, like a fingertip slap. You're gonna open that baby up and just let it fly. Boom. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna.
I want to leave a print.
You want to leave a what they call a body glove. So I have a bunch of these. I think I got enough for every partnership to have one. If not, you can team up with some people. What you're going to do is partners is going to hold it about where your face is, but not near your face. Please don't hold it like this, or like this. That's a good way to just get hurt. This person's going to do a little bit of this action. They're just going to loosen up. Now, obviously, in a real situation, you're not going to have time to do this. This is practice to get you good at it. Then she's just going to fire the slap. And she's going to fire the slap.
You like this? Feels good.
Now,
With him, so.
when you are holding the target and they do the slap, there is a side strap on, I think all of them. Put that over your hand,
By the way.
okay? Because a lot of times you think you're holding on to it, but it's getting hit and the pressure is going against the weak link, which is right here. And it has a tendency to fly out of your hand and break stuff. So just make sure it's through the thing. Do about 3 or 5, doing it where you're just kind of nice and easy, and then try to just do one where you're just here, boom, and throw it from straight at your side. So that's 3 to 5 like this, get comfortable with it, and then try to just go, boom, and throw the technique. Okay? And don't forget to let your partner do it too. So it's about 4 to 6 for one person, then switch to the other person. All right?
One of the things you don't want to do is just stand here and go like this.
Yeah, please. Use your hips.
Use your hips.
Use your hips.
Use the ball of your feet.
Swing it.
So-
Yes, swing
This
it.
thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want to do it?
Pivot.
You want to try it? There you go, Jen can.
Get two going.
Oh, one more thing. The slap hand is the leg that's back.
I got the slap.
You got it?
I had boys.
Oh,
I got the slap.
I hope you didn't just super slap on it.
Just the one.
Hand over.
This part.
So you're getting the full pump. Because if you go here, so you're getting hit here, but you're gonna also get like the ear is gonna get. So it's not just here, it's not just the all of it, it's the whole.
Your arm roll loose. Okay.
And then you get down here, so it's.
Roll that.
That would have knocked me out. hit harder than that.
It feels after a while if you want to do the other hand.
That'll do it.
And that's one of the things is too, I always get where I get this hyperextend thing.
Oh, yeah.
Try to bend it a little bit so it doesn't hurt me when I'm doing it multiple times.
Yes.
No, Mary.
Just like that every time.
Switch your feet. There you go.
Feel better?
Is that it?
Yes.
I told her I got my
Everybody's fine. Yeah.
Good, slap the shit out of it.
Are you left-handed?
No.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it hurt.
I'll do one more.
I got the slap now.
Try to,
Okay, now do
there
it.
you are.
And lead it.
You got that part though.
They go right
So now you had all this fun. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna put some of that together. We're having a little bit of fun with this now. So I'm gonna come towards her. She's gonna push herself back.
Stay
I'm gonna
back.
hold this up. We're gonna add that to it. We're gonna give you a little bit more of a distractionary window to get out the door. Essentially is what we're trying to do here. So we're gonna come at the partner.
Stay back. Stay back.
Boom. Thanks. Obviously, I would continue moving forward. That's what this is. This is me taking a step forward. I'm just not dumb enough to put my head right. I was once. You'll make a mistake more than once. So try that with your partner where you're just going to walk into them. They're going to give you the push to redirect them. Remember, you're pushing you away from them, not pushing them away from you. And then target up to emulate that second step in as you continue to close the distance, which is where now you get hit. Okay, so try that one. Have fun.
Thank you, Ann.
Taking that away from you, that's a whole nother class.
Yeah, that is a whole other class.
Tracy's partner went back to work.
All right. I'm going to attack you.
Yes, you are.
Oh, you know what? Here's the problem. I can't be pushed back because I have a knee injury.
I won't push you
So
back.
she could just go like this.
Yeah.
I don't say, but that's a good let. No, okay, so my finger was right there. At least the target kept me from.
Coming. Good.
I think I'll hold it up here though.
It's like, who needs to punch?
Yeah, seriously. All right. And, oh, God, bring it back.
Do you guys want to go right over here?
Yeah, maybe we should go like that. I got to step back. Okay.
That might be easier. And then make sure you guys
All right, here I am. Walking in.
I don't want to get hurt.
I know, we should almost go like do side to side kind of thing, and that way you don't have to go work.
Okay, let's try it.
Actually, maybe I'll be there. Stop. Oh, I'm supposed to go. You're like, hold on. Well, it's like way over here. Okay. What did you say?
Whatever you want.
Get away. Okay.
There we go.
Oh,
Holy cow.
Watch out, Scott.
Don't let her underestimate.
Whatever foot is
Courtney knocked out that slap.
Yeah, watch out for Courtney.
So you want to
That's what I know.
Yes, right. That's exactly how it's
Right.
But you can't do it if you're here.
That would be really fun, actually.
One foot in front of the other, which
Yeah, my sister. Gentleman practice Helvetia. My sister is Helvetia.
Okay.
And the night before last at 4 a.m., some guy comes on.
I'm going to give you another
Saying, help,
distractionary
my car broke down, my wife's pregnant, blah, blah. And she's
Instead of
like,
using your hands,
and her daughter was there, and she goes, call 911. And the kid's like, no.
That's a hook
Put a
kick.
gun to me or
Jason's
something.
getting
He
on
goes,
this one, man.
I need help. I
So
need
this
jumper cables.
was
My
called a
wife's pregnant.
kicking shield.
She's like, oh, no, I knew it.
You can
So
kick
they
it.
did come there.
If you have really pointy toes on, just take them off. You'll hurt the toe of your shoe more than you will the pad probably. So what's going to happen is one of you will take the target and you're going to put it on the leg that's on the side they're gonna kick with. So if she's gonna kick with her right foot, I'm gonna put it on my left foot and then push it down so that it squishes over the top of my shoe. Okay, that way I'm protected. Okay, now, from here, she's going to kick straight in about where my ankle would be. And sometimes it helps for them to have a visual.
She's anxious.
So sometimes it helps if they have a visual. If you put your other foot there, it tells them how high to kick.
Are you good?
Oh. So go straight in with your toe, huh?
Straight in.
Straight in, okay.
That was a little higher.
You're gonna pull your toes back, so you're not toe punching.
You're hitting
So
with
like
your
flex
Pull your toes
ball
back.
of your
Okay,
foot.
okay.
Which,
Hitting with
you know,
the
with
ball of
tennis
your
shoes,
foot.
it just looks like
If you were wearing a
not-
hard-toed shoe,
flicks that much.
you don't need to pull your foot back.
Okay.
Just
Like,
go
you're
right
wearing
into
your barefoot, you're wearing toes like that, you don't want to hit with your toes because you can really damage your toes. So you're going to pull the toes up,
Just knock you down.
kicking straight in. Now you may feel, depending on if they actually hit the pressure point through the target or not, you may feel it in your ankle. You may feel a little radiation. That's good. It means they did it right.
It's okay.
Okay? The idea here is not to kick so hard that you knock their leg away and break their ankle or anything like that. It's precision work. Because you're hitting a nerve, when you do hit it hard and you just give it everything you got, it's going to have a large effectiveness. You can practice both feet. Just remember that the kicking side is coming from behind you, not in front of you. I like that. Any questions on that?
No, I guess, no.
And then we're gonna learn how to slap with our feet upside somebody's head. I'm sorry. We're not gonna, that's called a hook kick. We're not gonna do
Well, just show us how you do it. Oh, with the hook kick is just here.
Okay.
Oh, I can do that.
So,
But I thought you were saying like a twist kick or.
all right, go ahead and give that a try. One person do a couple, and don't forget to switch so your partner. And really push that target down over your foot.
On your foot, so they can just get.
You're gonna try, because I had actually a knee injury, so I would have.
Yes, you want to kick with like right there.
I guess I can do my whole thing.
I feel bad.
You're a tough cookie.
No, I don't want to.
Wait, she's got it now, so
I know, but I got a bad
the more
leg.
you push that down, the better it is
I mean,
for you.
I can try it, but
So really, yes.
if I had to.
That should go.
Let me try this one.
That's like the life right now, right? Have you tried this, like, the tummy,
You know,
like,
like,
bells? Do they work?
Let's do this one.
Well, and try it.
I'll do a soft one.
And do they? You're like, yeah, hold on. Then that It's gonna kick your knee. It's like, call me a wuss again, I tell ya.
Get into it. There. They're gonna do it.
That's right.
I was getting all pissed off.
Just comes up.
Go Tracy, holy cow.
All right, which one are you thinking about this time?
Nobody's gonna get hurt.
Wait a minute. Ex-husband, my husband's like this.
He's just thinking about this one. No, I think about my son. That's what I told him the other day.
As you kill it, it just makes their foot.
Yeah, okay.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Okay, everybody's kicks the living snot out of each other? All right, so now you're going to put some more of this together.
Uh-oh, here we go.
So, your turn. You're going to come at them, they're going to give you the push. You're going to just hold this up like this for them to slap. Then you're going to put it down like this for them to kick.
Oh, the triple.
Push, slap, kick.
Yep, push, slap, kick. And then we're going to get into the frame in a moment also. But where we put it, kind of put it all
I have
together.
the thing today.
Yeah, sorry, I don't teach class where you just get the zone out. It doesn't work that way. So it's,
A freebie hour.
again, when you're doing the push, remember that you have to have a space to retreat to. If you did have a situation where you had something behind you, remember, you're gonna go at an angle, right? So I go here, she's gonna try to push out there. Same thing,
Slide
I'm
with
gonna
the
go
shoe.
like this, boom, like this, boom. So if you notice there's somebody behind your partner, just tell them, go at an angle. See if they can figure that out. Right? Can you turn your car wheel and chew gum at the same time? Okay, so, right? I know. So it's
And if she's just
push and
gonna slide as
release,
well as.
slap and kick. Okay, slap and kick. Why are we kicking after we slap?
They're
Create
stunned?
distance.
Okay, we get stunned, we get something
I think
distant.
create space.
Create space. How about this? Which takes more balance? You hitting with your hand or your foot? Foot. Would you rather hit somebody who's on balance or off balance when you are in a position you're off balance?
You want to be on balance.
Yeah. So it's because you've off balanced them. That's why we're doing it secondary instead of primary.
And the memo is you're gonna make them hurt different parts of their body and just evaluate whether
Whether this was a good idea or not. Yeah. It's a very, very sound tactic to get people to not mess with you is by redirecting their mind. You don't have to damage their body, do you?
All right, now, push,
What's
slap,
that?
kick.
I was gonna say, sorry,
Slap.
Slap, kick. Slap, slap, kick. Faster. Push,
You better get down fast.
Some of that, try it?
Yeah.
Okay. And push, slap, kick. Push.
Remember your super slap?
Messing with you.
Yeah, that's right, okay. Try it.
All right, I'm gonna do a slow one. I can't get the kick. All right, balance.
That's okay.
Balance. I see, I gotta figure out how to slap the leg. How you start it. Because it has to be choreographed.
You were kicking with the opposite leg that you're kicking with.
Come on, yeah. So, I mean,
Had that foot back.
push, slap.
There you go. The right one now.
This way, that means I have to turn my
All
body.
right, come with me.
Okay, I'm gonna, there you go. Okay, I'm gonna
That's
think
perfect.
about
It's
that.
just
you're gonna step back.
Step, I gotta step.
All right, one more time. All right, let's way.
Push, slap. Oh, come on. Exhale's been on my elbow.
That's a whole segment for the day.
Don't hurt me.
That's like, that's what I do. So they don't turn you, stay down.
Now she's got it down.
One more. Try hard.
That's all you have to do.
That's what you do, and I do.
Really there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you're right, yeah, I got
Fast and hard.
That's harder.
Okay, looks like you guys got that. So now let's add the next piece.
So you got
So we have, Scott getting hurt back here. So we have your,
Bikes.
And the stopwatch.
Don't tell me that around.
Wrestle a little.
so before we add the frame into this, I want to teach you one more technique that has to do, there's two more that I wanted to teach, but I don't think I got time for both of them. I think this one's super important because when this happens, you're in trouble. And you have, if they're strong and they're gripping, they're
I didn't see that. Can you do that again? I just missed it.
So they're actually
Do it again,
putting the
do it again.
pressure with their thumbs. You have about 6 seconds before the world goes fuzzy and you start to pass out. That's not a lot of time. And it's not enough time for you to think about a decision. I think I'm going to defend myself now. Maybe and what a lot of people's go-to is I'll try to kick them, I'll try to hit them, I'll try to knee them, whatever. It doesn't work. Okay? And the reason is because I have so much power here because my thumbs are what's doing the pressure on your trachea that you're going to be in such a panic mode for you to start hitting and kicking. It's just not going to happen. However, there's an easy way to get out of this. Okay? It's like magic.
You want me to go fast or slow?
Yeah, breathing.
That's it. Boom. Done.
Okay.
What you're doing is your person has grabbed you, probably unawares, Like they're showing them the house, right? They turn around and go, ah! Right?
Sorry.
More
This-
realistic.
And hopefully this never happens to you, but it's way more realistic than me just doing this, okay? Or maybe they turn around and they're walking towards you and all of a sudden, okay? The key is that you're going to step back because they're coming forwards, okay? If you do this in a vacuum, it doesn't work as well. It's because I'm coming forwards, it takes the pressure off as you move back. If we do it in a vacuum and you're not moving and I'm just squeezing, it's really hard to make this work. It still works, it's just a lot harder. So we're not in a vacuum, I'm coming forward, she steps back and ducks underneath it. Tucking the chin to create a small space for them to squeeze against. The bigger the space, the easier it is for them to grip. Okay? So I want to see your chin go down, your foot go back. Then I want you to be very respectful and bow. Then make a little circle and you're free. Okay? A lot of people forget the bow. So they get grabbed, they go here, they go here, then they go, or they try to do a circle of the head. Right? It's not working. Right? So you can have some more fun with that. There's lots of things you can do once you've mastered striking, but one of the things you'll maybe see sometimes if you follow like hashtag martial arts and stuff, you'll see people do that. And do all this really cool kung fu stuff. The reality is that works great against somebody your size in a safe training environment. You try it someplace that it's unfamiliar to you, you don't know the person, all of a sudden you're like, what was that thing I learned? It was 1, 2, 3, oh man, I peed. Right. That's where you're going to be. So rather we teach you something that's easy, take a step backwards, bow, and go around. Okay, and if you eat a lot of garlic, burp out. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
What if you're on the ground?
That's a different seminar. I have a whole like 6 hours of stuff I can teach you for that.
Okay.
That's what I just asked him.
Yeah, it's a great
The
question. What
idea
happens
is
when you
you don't want to get on the ground,
Yeah.
really.
But if you do,
Your idea is to get away
Stay on your feet.
and stay on your feet. The only thing I ever,
Poor Mark. He's had some experience with martial arts, and when you've had experience, it's hard not to share.
and I've also tried to teach my girls some things. And the one thing that I always taught them, like the shin, was a kick to the inside of the knee. And drive through it. You're trying to put your foot on the ground. They cannot chase you if they can't stand. But your thing is to now run like hell.
But ground defense and the skateboard is a totally different class. And because it takes, for most people, so right now, this is about as close as we've gotten to a person. Ground defense is here. If you're not comfortable with people with this, like no problem, but I can do that.
It just turns into a hug.
I can do that with anybody. Though, so
actually, it really does. You want to show real quick?
Might what?
You want to show real quick?
What?
The hug.
Turns into a hug?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
But your tolerance.
You just basically stay there and you hang on.
Your tolerance for body contact has to be much higher, so there's a kind of a slow initiation phase for most people. Even though we throw you into everything right away, a lot of people are like, oh, this is so awkward, I don't know how. Right? It's just because you're not there yet. You're not used to that space. Once you get used to it, you're like, can I just lie on the ground and fight with you? I don't want to stand up anymore. It's just leverage-wise, it works better for a smaller fighter. So we have grab, step, bow, circle, don't slap. But that's what's coming next. Is a slap and then your kick. We're going to add that to it too. Any questions on that? Okay, give it a shot.
Step back, bow, roll out.
Right, step back, bow, roll out. Yep.
I'm joking?
Alright, Tracy.
Joke, step back. That works.
Coming at you. Alright, go easy on me. The feeling of putting my hands around somebody's neck. Oh my God.
I my son. I do love it.
Come forward.
Here. Watch go.
All right.
And then step this foot back more. Yeah. Back more. There you go. 'Cause you had it over here.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure you were stepping.
So whatever put is back there, they just take it back even further.
So if you're barely here, because realistically, she's not, you're not gonna be way more involved. You're more in here. Whichever you do. If you step here and you want to go like this, that's how it works. You just go towards whatever.
Gotcha.
Really try.
It's basically where your feet are. Whatever, some people just step back, that's the way you want it. Okay, I'm just gonna grab these here.
I'm off balance. Push me a little bit. And you have.
I got it.
Yeah, there's for balance, just like this.
See, I tried to sit back, fall,
You're gonna be up here like this, getting ready to bow, or duck to back to the foot. You got your foot.
We'll see you do the Try to again.
this way.
You really need to
Okay. So whether you're stronger in your right side or your left
You're such a girl.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like, so what happens if you stand in?
So when you bend down, think of too, like, okay, try bending down the knees. Other side. That might be. When you're not there, then bend the knees. Yeah. Because that's also too more straight up your arm, the less leverage. Like the same with our base when we do, remember that? That one, same thing, you know, bending the knees. It's really about that. Like this, so puts it.
Oh, you go fast.
I'm squirrely.
Let's go slow. You're rolling out.
Exactly.
I was a wrestler.
Let me show you.
You have that power, I can tell.
Yeah.
It's a back, the bounce, the back.
Okay, looks like everybody's got that, so now you're gonna put it all together.
Roll up.
Defense there.
So you're gonna start with the push. I'm gonna come at her, she's gonna push.
Oh, what?
Push it.
I know I'm pushing. I push.
We also teach push defense, so that wasn't that long ago that we taught that, so it gets a little confusing for us instructors. So I'm coming in. she's
Stay
doing
back.
that. Then I'm gonna go for here. She's gonna do her frame. I'm gonna back out of that. I'm gonna come back in for the choke. She's gonna come out of the choke. I'm gonna give her a hand to slap. And then she's gonna gently touch my leg with her foot.
Gently.
Okay? So we're not going full speed on this. This is about, and you just do it. And you just do it. So you have, one more time. I'm moving into her. She pushes herself
Stay
back.
back.
I keep coming. She makes the
Stay back.
frame.
Frame.
I step back because that's uncomfortable. She relaxes because that's what you do, right? And then I'm coming back in. And now she's here. I'm giving her something to hit. And then she's going to kick. And if you see that their other leg is closer, hit the short leg. Don't hit, just hit the back foot.
Oh, I thought you were
Just hit
saying.
the short leg. Don't hit the one that's far away. That puts you off balance. If I got to kick way over there, all they got to do is give you a little tap, and you're lying down on the ground. And we're back to the question of what do you do when you're on the ground? Pull out your gun and shoot them. So if this is the close leg, you're just gonna kick straight into there. Okay. You can also kick like this. You can turn your foot the other way. I'm showing you this one. Is the one that's the simplest for 100% of people to get. Anybody can walk in, learn it, and be able to do it in 5 minutes. When we start adding pivot to be able to add power, it gets a little bit more complicated. Balance issues. It's more fighting techniques instead of self-defense. Self-defense should be something I can teach you today. You go home and practice. In the next week and a half, you feel like you could probably do this stuff. Maybe even do it as you walk out there, depending on what the technique is. So one more time. I'm coming in. Boom.
Stay back.
I'm coming in again. Oh, don't like that. Coming in one more time. There's a hit. Boom.
There's whoever's phone that was.
Kick. Boom. And then after there, you're disengaged. Okay? If you're feeling like, oh, I don't think that would work, let me hit you once. Let me kick you once. I'll change your mind. I'm really good at that. I've dealt with the what if. Oh, well, with the accent, like, what did they do this? What did they throw like this? What? And I'm like, just do it to me. See if you can do it. You're bigger than me. See if you can make it work. You could, 100% of the time, because the techniques work. So just trust the techniques and do them what I'm showing them to you. Don't adapt them. One of the things to be careful of is when you start, when you're hitting and you're doing this, keep in mind, energy in the body is now going here, not here. Energy's going out where my elbow is. So there's no power from here to here. There's nothing there really. Now there is. It's all the energy is coming through that line. So it's a connected power line between me and her. Boom! And that electricity sparks. Okay? Give that a try. All components now.
You're doing a push, frame, slap, kick.
Yes.
No. Push, frame, choke, slap, kick.
Got it. Push, frame,
Choke, slap, kick.
Do this a little bit.
And go slowly. Go slowly. You don't need to
I
be
gotta
fast on
do
this
4
one.
things at a time.
I come towards you again, and then, all right, maybe we should push in like that. Okay. Now I'm coming in.
Push, frame.
There you go. You're back. One there. And then right here. Yeah. Right above.
Yeah, this side. Push, roll.
I hit it before on the couch and there's energy down. Yeah.
So we do that again. One over here. Right towards you. You're Push me away. Push me away. There you go.
Okay.
And now I'm going your hat. Other way. Other way. Head goes that way. There you go.
Push, frame.
So you can do this too.
And then roll, and
Here, as you like this.
and then kick. Yeah, that's it.
Try again.
Nice and slow.
Frame, your push out.
So I'm gonna come towards you. Push me. And then I come toward you. I'm gonna grab you. Grab. That's what. And so you're gonna have me do. I'm gonna hear. There you go. Push me away. Push me away. There you go. Then you do. And then you go step and slap. So it could be back. Either way. And then kick. You put your shoes on. Keep me. Yeah, there you go. It's like, it's okay, you don't even have shoes. It's okay. Now, you like know it. So now I come towards you. If I come towards you.
Dallas, which is.
Oh, yeah. And then.
We were something like that. You were right after.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, well done, you guys. Thank the person you've been training with.
Thank you.
Good job.
Call it celebrating at our academy. Celebrating partners. 12:45.
Pretty good. You're right there on the average.
I want to take you out.
So that's about our time right there. We can do questions, but usually those devolve into what if questions, and we can literally spend all day doing that. If you want to know more and you're a lady, sorry guys.
Excuse me. Sexist.
I am. We have at our academy, we have a women's self-defense class coming up on Wednesday, February 12th from 7 to 8 p.m. Cool. Highly recommend you come if you're a lady.
And give it to the men for their
And then if you're a guy
girlfriends
and you have a
or
wife
daughters
or a daughter,
she already has one.
that's right. If you're a guy, you have a wife or a daughter or a sister or a mother or an aunt or
Oh, we put it on our Facebook page.
or anything like that, have them come too. So we're going to be covering more of this stuff. I got it.
I took elbow in here.
We're going to be covering some stuff from the ground. One of the questions that came up today is what happens if you get up on the ground. There's some things you need to know to be able to get away from somebody on the ground, both if they're on top of you or if you're underneath them in a different
He
position.
does these every once in a while.
Real quick note on weapons. I have 3 different weapons in my hand. Actually 4, technically. All right? The pen, which is mightier than the sword. The cell phone, which is mightier than the sword. The Kubaton, which is mightier than the sword. And the car keys, which are mightier than the sword. All of these are weapons that you can always have with you. Most of you always have a cell phone. Very few of you leave these behind. They make them pretty strong these days. And they work very well as that super slap. Slap with the edge of your phone instead of with your hand. If you have a nice solid pen like this is a metal pen. The ink's out, unfortunately, but yeah, I didn't want to write. But you can always have a pen with you, right? And again, do that slap with the pen in your hand instead. Use the pointy one. Take the cap off. Same thing with the Kubaton or a car key. The car keys, you can just hold your key. Or the house key. If you're at a house and you've got the key, you can just hold the key in your hand. You immediately got an improvised weapon. And it's very hard to see that coming because it's very small. Well, that's just a quick word on weapons. Sometimes I see people, they have, Mark's got a knife in his pocket. Those can be helpful if you know how to use it, as outside of just like opening boxes and cutting the occasional piece of fruit. If you've been trained in how to use it and how to draw it and have it open and ready to go, it's a valuable tool. Otherwise, it takes too long to get it out. Same thing with guns. I did a seminar and somebody said, well, I got a concealed carry. I'm happy for you, so do I. I'll carry a gun. I have a concealed carry. I have a concealed carry, so it allows me to carry a gun. Here's the problem. How many times have I practiced shooting at a person? Once. That was back when I was 17 years old with the sheriff's office. Actually shooting at each other with guns, with real bullets that are made out of what are called simunition. So it's like a paintball, but it's in an actual 9mm shell or 45mm shell. And they hurt. They hurt a lot. Especially when 6 guys shoot you right in the crotch.
That's what they always go for.
For some reason, they're like, crotch shots, it's a good thing. But guns are great, except that they have a specific range of efficacy, meaning that this is too close. You better have already used it at that point. For a lot of people, if Jason's my target, this is way too far away. Particularly because it's a human. And humans, we automatically have an instinct not to kill. That's just unless you're like a sociopath or a psychopath. So you, as a non-sociopath or psychopath, might have a little trouble when it comes time to actually pull that trigger. To that end, the gun that I have for self-defense shoots a .410 shell, which is a shotgun shell. Tiny little BBs go, so I don't have to aim. I can just go, hey Scott, boom. I don't have to go, oh, there's the bad guy. Okay, center mass, sweeper stance, line up the sights.
I've got my example of the lady that she survived, but the guy already had the rope and the bear spray out and was moving towards her.
Yeah.
By the time she got her gun out and telling him, he's unloading the bear spray on her.
Mm-hmm. Been better to just get away. Safer to get away, and then from a tactical position of advantage to use your handgun. Get inside your car, lock the doors. One other thing about cars. If you park in the driveway, park headed out. Ideally, and I have a tendency not to do this myself, ideally at the very edge of the driveway. So that you're kind of hanging over, so that it's very difficult for somebody to block you with their car. Imagine you pull in, they block you, now you need to get away. It's a little difficult. You got a nice big 4-wheel drive like Eddie and Tim do with those giant trucks. They might be able to just do it. You got a little Prius, you're going, it's not happening. So just keep those kinds of things in mind. I do recommend the safety course that Online Ed has. It's really good, very comprehensive, and it's got some... When you read through the stories on it, you're going to go, that will never happen to me. They thought the same thing, and it happened to them. And there's a lot of stories of people getting murdered, raped, assaulted sprinkled throughout so that it keeps it very real. So I highly recommend you that. But thank you guys for coming.